To make these chunky rings, first of all, you will need some cheap air dry clay. You can find this easily on Flipkart or Amazon. Just look for air dry clay. I will also leave everything in the description below so that you can find whatever I'm mentioning in this video. And then you'll need some airtight pouches or cling wrap, cling foil, clean wrap, whatever it's called. Basically that plastic thingy that clings onto whatever you put it over so that it sort of becomes airtight. Ideally what you will do is first you wrap it with the clean wrap and then put it inside this airtight pouch. I think that will ensure that your air dry clay does not dry. Then you'll need a surface to work on so that the clay does not stick onto the table. Along with that, you will need a rolling pin of any sort. I got an acrylic roller only, but you can get a wooden rolling pin, or you can just use a pen, with a thicker barrel or something like that. Just be creative. And then you might need 2 pieces of cardboard or 2 pieces of acrylic sheet or anything that you can find of the same thickness. This is if you want your ring to be of the same thickness overall. So basically you will place your clay here and roll it, and yeah, this thing will not let it go any further than what the thickness of the cardboard is. So yeah, if you want something like that, then definitely I'm sure you'll find a cardboard lying around here and there. So this is the easiest to find. And then you will need a cutting blade of some sort. I couldn't find one, so I just went with the steel scale and it worked just fine. And when you're working with this acrylic sheet, you might want to tape it down from the edges so that the sheet does not move, because what happens is when you're rolling the clay, billowing the clay, it tends to move around a lot. So yeah, that will be inconvenient, so just tape down the edges. Then you will need source of water. I prefer keeping it in a spray bottle because it makes sure that you're spraying the water evenly everywhere. Otherwise, if you don't have this, then you just take a bowl of water and just sprinkle it. As simple as that. So next you might need some clay modeling tools. These are not absolutely necessary, as you can use something that's lying around your house as tools, but if you have them, definitely it will help you out. I found them quite helpful, like this ball head, this whatever this is. It looks like a pasta to me. And then this cutting head and whatnot. So, and my favorite is this seashell head. This was very helpful. So yeah, if you want to get something like this, definitely, but you don't need all of this. Yeah, you don't need it, but yeah. So for sizing your rings, either you can just wrap around the clay around your fingers and find the ring size, but obviously that might not be the most efficient way, although it's very common, but it's not that efficient. So I prefer using a ring mandrel and a ring sizer. Basically you just take a ring and you put it on your finger, and if that fits, that means that's the ring size, and you just slide it over on the mandrel. You find the ring size. It says 17, 18, so it's somewhere in the middle. So basically what you will do is you will wrap around the clay somewhere around here. So that just makes it easier. But one warning, while working with air dry clay, it shrinks. So I would suggest making the ring a little bit bigger. Maybe if you want a 17 to 18 ring, maybe make it between 19 to 20. That's my suggestion. I've not really tested it now, but I've seen that the ring shrinks a lot, so that's just a suggestion. I've been trying to do this as well. So basically just make the ring a little bit bigger than your actual size, and I think then you'll be good to go, because this shrinks and yeah, it will not fit where you want it to. But if you don't want to buy this mandrel and ring sizer and stuff, you can just take a thin piece of cardboard and just roll it like this or something like this. So yeah, you can start from here. Obviously this is a very bad demonstration and this is not a piece of cardboard, but yeah, and you can just use that as a mandrel. Also, you might need some Fevicol if you're sticking on some stuff. So I had to glue on these two things with Fevicol. You can see this because the band had already dried and I made this later. So yeah, it would not stick to the clay on its own, so I had to use Fevicol. Last but not the least, you will need some varnish. I got some from the little birdie itsy bitsy craft stores varnish. It's called Decor Varnish. It comes in gloss as well as matte. I really love this, and this is a very important step. Without this, I don't think your rings will ever be complete. And make sure you apply this with a flat brush and nothing else. I think a flat brush works the best. I've not tried with anything else, but yeah, make sure you use a flat brush. And if there are like small areas you want to cover, then maybe use a thinner brush, but for most of it, you use this, a flat brush. So first I'm gonna make a squiggly ring. You can see two variations here. One is multicolor and one is of a solid color. So take your pick. And before you begin the actual process, make sure you clean the surface as well as the tools so that nothing gets stuck onto the clay. And then I'm also taping the acrylic sheet onto the table so that it doesn't move. And these are the colors that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be making a multicolored squiggly ring. After taking out the clay from the bag, make sure you knead it properly. Basically play around with it until it reaches a consistency that you can work with. And after you've taken the desired amount out, make sure to seal the bag so that the clay does not dry. To make this ring, you'll need 3 rolled up snakes of different colors. All the two of mine look very similar, but yeah, 3 different colors is what we are going for. So after you've rolled up 3 snakes, it's time to make the squiggles. So you can see I'm just making the squiggle shape, and make sure the squiggle, the loop touches the other one so that yeah, it becomes a ring, otherwise it'll just open up. So I'm just spraying some water on this one because this snake has dried a little bit, so it wouldn't stick otherwise. Forget to the other part, it wouldn't even stick to itself. So make sure you just spray a little bit water so that yeah, it just sticks. So now I'm going to use my ring sizer to measure the size of the finger I'm making this ring for. So once I'm done measuring my ring size, I'm just gonna slide this ring over to the mandrel to find my ring size so that I can make the ring around that size itself. You can see it's exactly between 22 and 23. And now I'm wrapping around the ring, and to my surprise it was exactly the perfect size, so that worked. Although later it shrunk, so that's a bummer, but anyway. So here I'm just, I don't know, finishing the ring up and stuff so that it looks a little bit better. And we're done with the ring, so I'm just keeping it aside, and I'm just going to clean the surface so that there's no transfer of clay from this ring to the other one that I'm gonna make. So now I'm going to make a twisty ring. The green one is a twisty ring, but it's of a solid color. So this one I'm gonna make with 2 colors, yellow and purple. It's all about making snakes in this DIY project. So now after you've gotten 2 of your snakes, just pinch the ends together, spray some water so that it sticks to each other, and just twist it. And we twist, but don't twist it too much because it will break, which is happening to me right now, so I have to be very careful here. So I'm just trying to twist it in parts where it's obviously not twisted enough. That is actually easier, to be honest, but this clay just breaks when you do that, so yeah, just beware. So I just merged the edges together because I did not want to cut it, because anyway the clay was breaking. And to remove the ring from the mandrel, basically I'm doing this so that it just comes off without getting damaged. Now I'm going to make the second type of twisty ring. More than a twist, it's like a loop. It's not a braid, but it's a loop. I don't know what it is, but I'm just making it. And yeah, make sure you keep spraying water when you want the edges to be merged together. And for this one, I had to cut the ring because yeah, it was simply too big and it kind of destroyed the shape. But anyway, so this ring looks nothing like the yellow one. I don't know how I made the yellow one, but anyway, I'm just trying to mend the ring, just stick the edges and broken parts together and just trying to get the most out of whatever I've made. Since I was not happy with this ring, I just stuck on a bead of the same color onto it and tried to make some design onto it, but that did not work. So I just added a purple bead and that actually looked nice, but I was like, let's do more, and I added yellow to it and I still wasn't satisfied, so I decided to add some green to it. And I think after that I was like, yeah, this looks fine, this can do. So now we are going to make this triple decker ring. I'm just going to use some red and blue, and then I just remembered that hey, that looks like Spider-Man. So if I wear this on my ring finger, does that mean I'm married to Spider-Man? So here you will just stick the 3 snakes together. I'm keeping the red on the edges and the blue one in the middle. And then it's the same old process of cutting, then sticking it together, removing it, mending it, and all of that good stuff. And now I'm gonna make this marble ring, although the marble in this ring is not that visible because it's a thin band ring. But here we're gonna make a squiggly cut ring, but use the marbling technique here. So it's the same as the squiggly ring, but You just cut off the tops and it just gives you this textured ring. So here I'm spraying some water and then mixing these 3 colors together. So yeah, it's the exact same process as the squiggly ring, but I just fell short of clay. It just would not even wrap around the mandrel, so I had to add more clay, so that it did. And yeah, I just removed it and then I realized, oh my god, I had to cut the tops. So that's what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think that looks comparable to me. So here I'm going to be making a thin band ring and a thick band ring, as you can see. So I'm using these 2 pieces of cardboard so that the thickness of the ring remains the same throughout. Although I just removed it, I just got impatient. And here I'm just fixing the edges so that yeah, it just doesn't poke out like that. And the rest of the process is the same. Obviously, when you're making a thick band ring, make sure you cut it thick. Although this one was a little bit thin, but yeah, I guess it'll do. It's not that thin actually. So like these thin band rings, I'm just gonna add a bead onto this one because yeah, I had clay lying around. So I was like, let's just do this. This was a very simple ring. I was just messing around. I just put a bead that was too fat, so I just put more on it and just made some design on it with one of my clay tools. This was definitely not thought about. I just did it. I just winged it. And next I'm going to be making a braided ring like that brown one. And I've taken purple, pink and purple, and I'm just spraying water so that it sticks and just braiding. Make sure you pinch one of the edges so that it, otherwise you won't be able to braid. And this clay is pretty difficult to work with, especially when you wanna do something like this. So just be patient. If you have the determination, you can do it because I did it. So yep. So the next ring I'm gonna make is the most popular Froggy Ring, and I'm just mixing the leftover purple color with the blue, and it turned out to be such a beautiful color, although that's not visible on camera. So you will have to make a thick band ring like I've showed you before. Easy peasy, take it off and just mend it wherever required. So for the eyes, you'll just have to roll 2 small balls. Make sure they're small so that the eyes just don't cover everything on the ring. And make sure when you're sticking the eyes, the clay is wet. If not, then just spray some water. Then I'm just adding some blush for the froggy, which did not come out nicely because there was barely any space because of the big eyes. And then I'm just adding the black part of the eyes. And then finally the mouth. They look pretty comparable, but I don't know what that is at the back. I don't know what I did there. I'm trying to fix it, but whatever. But yeah, this looks cute. The blue one looks bigger than the green one, and surely it is bigger because it fits my middle finger, so that's great. The green one does not at all. So here I'm just comparing my older rings to the new ones I made right now. So here I'm just showing you the marble effect, which is not very visible because I think I mixed the colors a bit too much. But on these ones, they're visible because I did not mix them as much. So that's what you want to do. Do not over mix it. Otherwise, it'll just become one color, and yeah. So I'm just showing you how I made this seashell ring. I just used a clay modeling tool to make an impression on a bead, and it turned out really nice. Then I stuck it on with Fevicol. And now this heart shaped ring, I actually just made the heart, cut it out and stuck it over the ring and just made some impressions with my clay modeling tool and called it a day. And now I'm going to varnish my rings to seal the deal, and you can see that marble ring just broke into pieces. But don't worry, I actually fix it by the end of this video. So I'm going to start by painting only the outer surface of the rings. And then I'll only paint the top. And then I'll flip over the rings and just paint the bottom sides. And then I'll only paint the insides of the rings. Let it dry and then we're done.